Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Matt. And one of the biggest problems single fathers face, and not just America, but I would say the world abroad, is that they're fathers, is that they're men. If you see a man with a young girl or a young boy, people will start to question, is it their father? Is it their uncle? Is it a predator? Is it a person using them for child sex trafficking, a child exploitation? Is it a kidnapper? Oh my God, it's the Unabomber, and he's got children! People like to overreact and freak out when they see a single father, and it is fucking atrocious because for a fact this kind of shit never happens with a woman. But you can't talk about these issues because that would be considered the patriarchy, right? And then it would be considered not right to talk about these things because clearly men are never victimized or ever thought wrongly of in society, ever. Yeah, okay. So this particular story takes place all the way across the pond in Surrey in England, where a 46-year-old man by the name of Craig Darwell and his 13-year-old daughter Millie had decided to travel to Surrey to check out Thorp Park, which is kind of like Six Flags here in the United States. It's a thrill seekers adventure playground, and it's something they were going to do for Millie's 13th birthday. Now, Millie's mother, Craig's wife, passed away 10 years earlier, and he has been a single father ever since. And so Millie is kind of the light of his life. She is the apple of his eye, or whatever the fucking phrase is right there. She means everything to him, and he wanted to give her this experience for her birthday. So he booked a Travelodge for the two of them to stay while they went to the park, and they traveled all the way to Surrey, and they got to the Travelodge, went to the front desk, and this is when things began to get a little bit weird. So the clerk at the front desk started getting a little bit suspicious of Craig, started asking odd questions like photo ID of Millie to prove that she was his daughter. I've never seen that happen ever, right? I've never seen that happen. Now, Craig also didn't know about this being a thing and says he doesn't have her ID, but he then pulled out his phone and showed the clerk pictures of him and Millie as a baby. And apparently that was enough to persuade the clerk to give Craig the key to the room he had booked online months earlier. Now they got up to the room and Craig was distraught about what happened, as he should be, as he absolutely should be. So he decided to go back down and complain to the clerk, saying, I don't like how I was treated. I feel disrespected. The clerk responded with, well, I'm sorry, sir, it's just company policy. And when asked what kind of policy it was, the clerk simply said that it was internal. And then smugly said, by the way, I've called the police. So keep in mind, this wasn't like they got into an argument and then the clerk was going to call the cops. As soon as they went upstairs, the clerk called the cops. Yeah, seriously, what kind of fucked up shit is that? So an officer came, spoke with Craig. Craig showed the officer photos of his daughter and him on Facebook, him saying, happy birthday, I love you. Then, of course, comes the worst part of it. The part where the officer has to go upstairs and speak to Millie, to ask Millie, is this man your father? Is this man hurting you? Is this man causing you any problems or any harm? Are, all these questions. Now, granted, it's not the officer's fault that they have to do this. It is protocol, and they want to be sure that everything is on the up and up. But even the officer said that, yes, as soon as they got there, they realized that this was not a child exploitation thing. This was not that at all. But of course, they still had to do their due diligence and follow their job. Now, sadly, what was supposed to be a thrill seeker adventurer's great weekend at Thorp Park turned into a very sad affair because Millie the entire night was distraught. She was absolutely positively distraught over what happened, crying her eyes out in the hotel room. Now, her dad contacted the company, right, and is complaining about it. They said they're looking into it. Now, they also said, and this is probably the manager, not the clerk, of this particular Travelodge, made the claim that the clerk got suspicious of Craig because Craig had tried to pay for the room in cash, which Craig is like, that's horseshit. I booked the room online. I paid for it with my credit card. And the thing is he had to book it online because the place was pretty full because it's next to a fucking theme park. So now they're still, waiting to hear back from Travelodge. And Millie now has to live with the fact that she was spoken to by an officer on her 13th birthday trip to confirm that her father was her father because someone at the clerk at the front desk was suspicious of a man with a young girl staying in a hotel room. Now listen, I'm not trying to argue and say that child exploitation and child sex trafficking doesn't exist. It absolutely does. And it's a problem. Human trafficking is a gigantic problem in the world at large. But the way Craig describes it is very frustrating to me, because it was perceived guilt right off the bat. Asking for identification, right? Craig even told the guy, if you would have told me this when I booked the room, I would have brought her passport. But he didn't. And the accusation that he was there to harm his daughter is not one that people are, he's going to probably get over anytime soon. That's one of the worst things you can ever accuse somebody of. And it's just because we live in a world now where men are viewed with children as predators. And it's true, we live in that world, and it's fucking horrible. And you see that kind of mindset shared through social media when you hear feminists talk about how the men are evil and men just want to hurt children and feminism is the way, and all of that propaganda and all of that rhetoric, and all it does is serve to harm single fathers, or not even single fathers, just fathers that are there without their wife to protect them from the accusations. Because if they had gone there with his wife, had she not passed away from leukemia, they never would have asked that question. Had Millie been there with her mother or her aunt or another woman, no one would have ever asked that question. Just recently, even here in the United States, an Uber driver thwarted a human trafficking event because he noticed that there were two women and a younger girl going to a hotel, and something about it seemed off. And so he was able to, ask the girl if she needed any help at a brief moment, got the answer that he needed, and then turned them all in. Got the girl rescued. There are times when these things are necessary, but if you are at a hotel and you question whether or not a man is the father to his child, and he pulls out photos of that child as a baby and like skipping through, so I'm like, look, this is her, and you still call the fucking cops, you are a fucking piece of shit. And I really do hope you actually get fired from your fucking job, because that's going above and beyond. That is going absolutely above and beyond and ruining someone's trip. And I know the company's going to try to explain it. The management's going to try to explain it. Oh, he was just trying to be protective. No, that's fucking horseshit. And I think anyone out there with half a brain can understand that. And this isn't a men's rights activism issue or nothing. I think this is a human thing. Right? We have judged people far too greatly on just first appearances. And asking that line of questioning is still going way over the fucking line, in my opinion. If you would have had concerns, like legitimate concerns, then you call the cops yourself. You don't demand identification from the person. It's fucked up. I don't know. It's fucked up to me. It's just totally fucked up. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think that the clerk was doing the right thing? Do you think that the clerk was on InfoWars reading about Pizzagate and thinking to himself, I'm gonna save a girl? Just like Edgar Welch did by taking a gun in a Comet Ping Pong in fucking Washington, D.C. Trying to find that underground sex dungeon that never fucking existed. These are things I want to know. Go ahead and write them down in the comments. Also, if you guys like the video, go ahead and toss it a thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe. I post new content every single day, talking about a wide variety of issues from across the globe. Also, if you want, I got my vlog channel up here, MundaneChats. Got movie news channel, 3 Book Theater, which I post as much as here. I recommend checking that one out. And I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day. And remember, just because a guy's there with his kid doesn't mean he's doing anything wrong. Give him the fucking benefit of the doubt and don't ruin a fucking vacation because you've read shit on the internet and it makes you fucking scared. See ya.